realize is that whether it's a port or it's an oil and gas or it's a any other industrial facility, many times the images that we are seeing, the sensor information that we are seeing is actually relayed out to a expert or maybe a maintenance person or maybe a senior management person who's more often than not in that same premise. And the information hence has to traverse or travel through a network to a third party, and it can be on any device. The device earlier, this information was supposedly in a section inside operations in a facility, but today that information can be even made relayed onto a mobile device. I mean, as all the smartphones that we are handling over here. And suddenly what we realize is that when you start giving the information access to devices which traditionally the network, the organization, the enterprise is not really geared towards handling, security again starts playing a very key role. So whilst we design the whole aspect of collaboration and connecting people together, we also have to take care of the fact that how do we secure that information in the device where it's actually being addressed, and some critical information would not actually go out. Again, I go back to that mining example. Imagine if, today, the trucks that go inside the mine, their ports are not open, so we are not collecting the engine information from the trucks and relaying it back to a control room. But the moment we deploy digital, the moment we deploy IoT inside the mine, what will happen is all the equipment information will be collected, and that information will start getting relayed out to a control room. Many times, the folks who will be manning this control room may not be in the same premise. They will be sitting, 100 or 200 kilometers away from the mine. Again, the question comes, how secure is the business operation as it starts considering moving digital, as it starts considering adopting IoT or Internet of Everything inside their business? So again, when we start the context, the way, I wanted to the reason I gave you this example was that when we start considering securing a digital India or a digital enterprise, many times these conversations, as we are realizing, are not coming from the traditional IT teams that we talk to, they're coming from the business. And as we speak to the business owners, we're realizing that, educating and talking to them about security considerations is becoming very critical. And it's all the more critical as you bring in more devices and visibility into those devices through the network. The second thing is also about being able to select the right kind of architecture. So whether we work for automotive clients or whether we work for a mining client or we work for an oil and gas client, when we start building an entire architecture for digital, we realize that when we start talking from a network upwards perspective, security starts playing a very critical role. And again, in that, security has we design that, we consider designing it from two perspectives, a physical and an information layer. And the physical layer is what I'm actually referring to here, where you actually are sensing a lot of information which traditionally you would not be sensing because you don't even have that kind of sensing capability, whether it's coming from RFID or video images or any other form of sensor like a temperature or a pressure gauge, etc. You start putting all of that information together, and a lot of that data, when it starts coming into the enterprise, what we are realizing is that this sensed information now needs to be connected to the right person, and that those people many times do not happen to be in a single, many times they're not even within the enterprise, they're actually third-party consultants or the third-party OEM equipment suppliers who need to have that access to that information. And security hence starts getting broadened out from the enterprise boundaries, start getting broadened out to those third-party folks who actually need to have access to this organizational information. And lastly, what happens is that then the whole issue about what do you do with it, how do you respond to that information, how do you connect with the physical piece of data with the information that you've collected and be able to respond back to the folks who actually are on the field, on the ground out over there. So that's basically one of the key themes that I thought I'll talk about is when you start thinking digital and you start talking about an architecture, consider these facts that you'll be bringing completely new set of devices, a new set of technologies into your network. When you design the network right, it's going to more often than not going to be a wireless network, but how do you hence then start thinking a security architecture which today, is not being thought about? It's not traditionally just putting a security software and it'll solve your problems, but being able to assess those threats that will come from very different sources. And then how do you then secure your enterprise in terms of response mechanisms to it? Thank you very much.
Puneet, can I have Giant Magic P.K. Malik, please, sir?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great honor and privilege for me to come and speak to this August gathering. And thank you, Bharat Chamber of Commerce and Industries, for giving this opportunity to me. Before they fix it up, I have just come from Delhi. I am based in Delhi. There is a hidden agenda for coming here. 87, 88, I was doing MTech in IIT Kharagpur.